A little after 1 a.m. Here comes the rain again. Falling on my head like a memory. Falling on my head like a new emotion. Good morning. It is 6:30. Seems to be my wake-up time when I'm up here in the mountains. During the week, it's practically my bedtime, but I stayed up. I listened to a little bit of my audiobook. It was kind of freaky being up here listening to a story about a lady who died in her tent. So I remembered from my last outing that I had downloaded Toy Story 4 onto my phone. And so I opened it and it was still there, and I watched that. Kind of dozed through it. By the time it was over, I was out. I woke up a couple times, mostly just to turn over and move around, and then I don't know, I slept pretty good. It only rained the one time around 1:30 in the morning, so things are probably damp out there, but thank goodness for the tarp. Man, I gotta pee. I did get up once and use the bathroom, and the stars were incredible. Just incredible. There's something I noticed about this tent that kind of bothers me. I'm gonna rip a little hole. I don't know if you can see it. But anyway, this is not focusing very well, but that little hole right there, right where the pockets come together, that wasn't there before. It's just slowly gotten worse. I think it's the weight of the stuff I put in here. And it's not super heavy stuff. It's bulky, but it's put a hole in my tent. That bothers me. That's how bugs get in. And the reality is that I have other tents that I've put stuff in the pockets and not had that problem. That really kind of ticks me off. I've only had this tent. This is like the third or fourth time I've used it. Anyway, gonna get up and get moving. It'll be a slow process, but I'll show you what today looks like. It looks like we have some condensation, but not bad. Just on the fly. That seems to be typical for this tent. I had the same issue with the clip flashlight too from Sierra Designs. So it's pretty normal, but at least it's on the fly. Or on the vestibule is what I'm trying to say, not the fly. Because this part of the fly is dry. It's just the vestibule area. You can see the difference in our water there really well now. As far as the tarp goes, it looks like it held up pretty well. You can see a lot of the water's still on there. But none of it leaked through, so it did its job, but it's really close to the tent now from the weight of the water on it, which isn't a lot. I am a bit frustrated because my puffer coat, it's been so moist just in the air. The air has been so humid, it hasn't dried out. It's still damp. And I really could use it right now, but I think what I'm going to do is wrap my jungle blanket around me. It's probably in the upper 40s right now, so it's pretty chilly. Yeah, it's still damp. I took all of the rain gear, the puffer coat, my long sleeve shirt, and put them inside the tent in the middle of the night because before it rained, the wind kicked up and I heard my shirt slide off the tent. And so I thought, well, it's probably going to blow it all over and it's all going to get wet. So I pulled it inside. Most of it was dry except for that puffer coat. I know down, once it gets wet, that is down, and it's really hard to get it dry, but the biggest problem hasn't been that it got, damp inside the pack. It's been that it's so humid in the air that it hasn't had the chance to dry out. So I don't know what today's gonna do, but I can tell you it's supposed to storm pretty good today too. And I don't anticipate being here for more downpours. My plan is just to have breakfast and get out and explore the other lakes while the weather is still respectable. Here's what our skies look like, kind of partly cloudy. You can see the sun hitting the mountains over there. That's Mount Marcel. The other side of that is the Kuberant Basin. It's funny, from Hayden Lake, looking at Lofty Peak, it doesn't seem very lofty, but from this angle from Teal Lake, you can tell why it's called lofty. Holy cow, that's an impressive peak. That's up there. I know I've been showing it, but I've just not addressed it really. This right here, this last bit, is a sheer cliff. That is an impressive peak. I'll put the elevation of Lofty Peak right here on the screen. It's big enough that if there were people up there, you wouldn't be able to see them. I explain it that way because the camera really doesn't show it. There's our bear bag. Still swinging easy. Luckily, all of the food inside it is in Ziplocs, and also that bag is supposed to be waterproof. I've been testing it. It's new. I had the Osprey bag that I was using for a couple of trips, but I accidentally ripped it open on a tree branch, getting it either up or down, and probably up into a tree, I can't remember, but I tore a hole in it. I'm kind of bummed. I'll fix it with some duct tape. It's my go-to. And I have some smaller ones too, but they won't hold all my food, so I'm trying to figure out how to use that system more efficiently. Here's the lake. Teal Lake in the morning. That reflection, it's just a mirror image. Alright, I am cold. The flannel helps. I really could use my puffer coat right now. I'm just afraid if I put it on, I'm just going to feel damp and cold. So this morning we have the eggs, and we'll figure out something from the MRE bag to go with it. I'm going to put the hot sauce to the eggs because, like I said, I eat eggs at home all the time, but there's something about those dehydrated ones. It's kind of like eating pillow stuffing. I don't know. The theme of this outing has been, with food anyway, has been to eat stuff that I have left over kicking around the house. So, like it or not, I'm gonna have that for breakfast. So, alright. Let's put the the purification tablets in that other bottle. I mean, the water's been purified, it's been treated, but now it's time to put the tablets in that clear the water up and make it taste good. Everything's damp. You can see everything's just wet. Not too bad under the tarp, but see, the thing is, usually when you put a tarp up, even in rainy weather, you get a nice square of dry ground. That has not happened because of the humidity. So I'll probably still sit inside my tent where it's dry and make breakfast from that angle like I did last night with dinner, and then we'll go explore. My right wrist is messed up. Those 2 fights I got in at work with those angry patients, I did something to my wrist. Could have been something else, but that's none of your business. No, I'm just kidding. It was it was the wrestling matches with patients, and I keep having to kind of do this and stretch it out. I sprained it, I think, so I'll take some ibuprofen this morning. It actually woke me up in the night. I hurt enough that I woke up with my wrist in pain. So, workman's comp, here I come. Like, just holding this tripod with that hand hurts too much. So it's pretty tender. Anyway, let's treat the water. And let's get some water boiled for the eggs. I almost forgot to get the bear bag down. There we go. There's a trick to it. Got to kind of whip the paracord. Come on, just a little further, buddy. I can probably reach it. There we go. Come here, you. It's caught on some pine cones. There we go. There's a little branch that keeps grabbing it. There we go. Just about took one of the noggin there. The bag is dry, mostly. Did a good job of deflecting water, so no worries there. I was kind of concerned that it would really come down last night, the rain, and drench it, but it seems to be okay. Alright. So my shirt here, my long sleeve, is nice and it's just drenched. It won't dry either, so this is less wet actually. This might actually be usable. I'm gonna try it and see if it's still gonna insulate me or not. If not, then I'll just take it back off. But this is useless. It's moisture wicking, and I've never had this moisture wicking material not dry quickly, so that's how an indication of how moist it is out here. It's just, I wouldn't put this on. I'd freeze. This shirt is interesting. I bought it for 15 bucks, I think. It's a Walmart brand. It says 100% polyester, blah blah blah, which is the moisture wicking material. But the thing is, it came with a tag that said it was 100% made out of recycled water bottles. Pretty cool, huh? So, I mean, you can't tell the difference between this and any other moisture wicking shirt. But geez, if you can do that, then why aren't we taking all the water bottles and making clothing, you know? Anyway, this is gonna have to sit in the sun, and the sun is not reaching us yet, so we'll make do. This feels warmer. Yeah, just the surface of it is damp, especially back here. Kind of frustrating, but okay. Let's figure this water situation out. It's just a couple of these purification tablets. 1, 2. I don't know if you could see it. Steve seems to want to focus on the background. There you go. Those only take about 5 minutes to work, as opposed to the iodine that takes half an hour. So what we'll see over the next few minutes is the water turn clear. Our scrambled eggs. Let's shake that up. Oh, I really need to use my left hand. That really hurts. Oh, look at that, it's already... The brown's already gone. That's awesome. By the way, I found our ant friend in the middle of the night. He crawled across my phone screen while I was watching Toy Story 4. And so he is no longer among the living. I squished him good. Okay, that's gonna have to be rinsed out. It's just too wet in there. Can't get the stuff out. 8 ounces. Because of my jacked up wrist, I'm going to light this with a lighter instead of my little ferro rod. No big deal. Even just like doing this kind of hurts. I should have warmed it up. It's not too happy with me this morning. I have to warm up that canister first. Or I could use my Espit tablets. That's why I brought them, was for a backup. See, it's the problem with using gas, is it doesn't always work. If it gets too cold outside, this is what you're dealing with. There's plenty of gas in there, it's just cold. Where with an Espit tablet, I wouldn't have that problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this up and try to get it warm. And we'll use the Espit tablets. Always bring a backup. They say 2 is 1 and 1 is none. So bring your main source and a backup, and you've got what you need. Just bring one source. Things fail, you pretty much have nothing. Alright, so what I have instead is this little Espit stove. Just like that. Then these smelly Espit cubes, but we'll live with it. These are always a struggle to get going, but once they do, they're great. So we'll let that prime for a minute. It's going, it's just not all fired up, so to speak. And for a windscreen, you'll notice I always bring foil in my cook kit, and this is why. It makes an excellent windscreen. It doesn't weigh anything. So there we go. Alright. Let's get that boiling. I think we're actually going to have this trail mix recovery with breakfast. It says it has pretzels. Does it? It doesn't say on the front, but in the ingredients it says pretzels. Everything that's in the pretzels. Peanuts, almonds, cashews. That's pretty much it. So hopefully there's salt involved, because that sounds really bland. Is there salt in this? Doesn't say. Don't see anything about salt. Huh. It says recovery. Trail mix recovery. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, I've had this before. It's pretty cool. They're little, the pretzels are little pretzel balls. You can see there. Nah. Cashews and almonds are au naturel. Au naturel. Natural. Alright. Just bland. I might have the Nutella rip-off stuff. Just eat it out of the packet. I don't have anything to spread it on. So I think I will. I'll just squeeze it out. Made with peanuts, it'll give me some protein and some energy on top of the eggs, the trail mix. And then when we go exploring, I'll bring the peanut butter and the First Strike bar and the peanuts. Lots of protein in this trip. I've tried to adjust the my little screen here to get the smoke to go elsewhere. It kind of worked. See, it's burning pretty good there. I guess mostly that it's right on the stove and there's nowhere else for the smoke to go but pour out from the bottom. It usually takes an entire tablet to get the water really boiling. I don't know why it's choosing to come in the tent though. Like, it could totally go the other way and I'd be good with that. Go. It's nasty. I can taste it. And the Aspid is totally reliable, even in winter, but that smoke. Ugh. Now we're having some condensation. It's not leaking, it's condensation on the underside of the tarp, and it's dripping down. It's just so moist out here with all this monsoonal weather. There's just nothing I can do to get away from how damp it is. Well, I got creative with the, turned out to be more of a smoke screen than a windscreen. Nothing like a good piece of foil, huh? Sounds like we have boiling water. We do. Okay, good. And there's our pillow stuffing. There's some bacon in there. Same rules as yesterday with dinner. Stir it up, seal it, let it sit for 5 minutes. Stir it, close it, let it sit another 4 minutes. So there you go. Okay, I have stirred this once, closed it. Let's open it, and I think you're gonna see what I'm talking about when I call this egg soup. Isn't that lovely? Look. Would you eat eggs like that at home? I did exactly what the instructions said. I was hoping that they had improved upon the instructions. I'm sorry, I can't drink egg water. That's disgusting, Mountain House. That's revolting. I'm gonna have to walk over in the bushes and drain this. It's too much. Before I add the hot sauce, I'm gonna drain off the soupy part of my eggs, which shouldn't be a thing I have to say. Okay, drained it off. Now it's just pillow filling. Here's our savior right here. Why do I put myself through this? Okay, you might be thinking, why don't you just eat the ramen? And it's crossed my mind. And the reason why is because I'm determined to bring you folks a quality video that shows the pros and cons of various outdoor experiences, and this is one of them. You know, I'm positive on Mountain House mostly, and I noticed in some of their meals they changed the water amount so that they're not soupy, so I was hoping that's what happened here, but it has not happened with the eggs. There's still some liquid down there no matter what I tried to do. It's all mixed in. Let's see how it goes. Okay, and by the way, wearing the coat has actually helped get rid of a lot of the dampness, probably my body heat. But I brushed the top of the tarp when I got up to drain my eggs, like you do. And man, water just dumped on me. Not from a leak though, it's condensation. It's just trapping all this heat from the tent and me underneath it, and it's all me creating that. So that's good, and it's to be expected in humid weather. Here we go. I'm praying the hot sauce makes a difference. Want some? If you do, you're weird. That hot sauce is pretty weak. There's almost a chemical flavor to these eggs. I don't know, guys. I don't know if I can eat this. Do birds eat eggs? Turn them into a bunch of cannibals. I've had some of those gray jays floating around camp. I don't think I can eat this. I ate that trail mix. This is disgusting. It's not just appearance, like the soupy. I'll try one more bite. Honestly, I don't like throwing food around my camp. Even draining these eggs, I'm taking the chance of attracting animals. I'm gonna choke these down. I need the protein, I need the nutrition. Eggs are the most nutritious thing you can eat, really. I don't know about freeze-dried eggs, but I'm just gonna suck it up and eat these. I don't want to throw them around camp. Oh, guys. Now, my phone, with the GPS system, it's at 45%. I'm pretty sure I can find my way back to Hayden Lake and out of here now. I mean, I know the route now. But as far as going to Cutthroat and Teal Lake, I'm going to need that GPS. And the problem is, I got my charging bank. I don't know if you can see that notification on there. But it says moisture's been detected in my USB port. A couple things wrong with that. One is it's been doing that for days at home because it's been very humid. And it thinks there's moisture in there, and there's not. It's the air. I've not gotten it wet except in the rainstorm. And in the rainstorm, when this was soaking wet yesterday, I didn't get that notification. So, Samsung, pull your heads out. Moist air is not the same as actual water. I got actual water in there. The other problem with that is this is supposed to be waterproof down to 5 feet of water. So if it is, then why is there a warning saying, oh no, there's water in your USB port? Okay, but this is waterproof, isn't it? Which is it? You know, the only way I've been able to get the notification to go away, no matter how much I blow it or try to dry it out, is at home. I'll plug it in anyway and it'll disappear. Well, here what's happening is I'm taking my power bank here, I'm plugging it in, it immediately screams at me. It's telling me, oh no you don't, there's moisture in there, you can't charge this right now. So I've got 44% battery. I need the all trails to navigate and no way to charge my phone. So what I'm hoping is while we hike, it'll dry out, whatever the problem is. The phone's not wet at all. And it just infuriates me that it didn't do that when it was raining on my phone. Soaking wet, never a problem. And now it's a sunny day. The sun is actually out. You can probably tell, but I don't know what to do about that. We just won't use the phone until we absolutely have to.
I went through this on my last trip, not with the moisture thing, but my battery dying because I forgot the cable. I left it in my car because I'd used it to charge on the drive up. And so I couldn't charge my phone, and I was mostly worried about my Instagram photos. By the way, here's my Instagram handle. I take a lot of photos on these trips, and so if you're not following me on Instagram, you're missing out on some pretty cool pictures, I think, that you won't see in my videos. Anyway, I got down to 2%, I think, and took my last photo with it on my last trip before the phone totally died. Just as I was hiking out. So I think it's going to be a similar case here. As long as we can do the loop to Cutthroat and Teal and come back here, I know the way out to, you know, back to the car. But I don't know where those lakes are without the GPS system. So I finally got the GPS system to work. I take back what I said about All Trails. Except their own map, their All Trails map, does not work. But the other map worked fine. In fact, it's better, so. I'm going to punish myself for a few minutes, and then we'll get going. That moisture on top. It's pretty impressive, actually. It's sparkly in the sun over there. Okay, I'm cleaned up. I just zipped up the net. I'm not going to worry about the fly right now. I want it to kind of air out in there. I've hung my shirt. It's pretty soggy. Hopefully that helps. The sun's starting to hit it. As you can see, the sun has come up quite a bit. It's turning out to be a beautiful morning. There's the sun. It is cloudy. And so I've added a couple of things to my pack. It's kind of a little bulky. Got thinking about it. What if it rains? I got my rain gear in my backpack and also a charging bank in case my phone decides that it's not deep in the ocean somewhere. So there's camp. It looks well occupied and well used. If anyone happens by, most people leave your stuff alone unless they're 14-year-old Boy Scouts. Previous video problem I had that I mentioned before. Anyway, I'm gonna get out the GPS right now and figure out where to get back on trail to find the other lakes. I have 44% battery. It says we're pretty much on the trail still. So we are going to follow the loop the direction it says, which is probably says that way, but that's the direction I came from to get to this campsite. So let's go back to where that lean-to is, and then we can probably figure it out from there. There's a trail running through there that is probably our trail. I want to do this now because these thunderstorms, they tend to roll in the afternoon and evening hours. Especially afternoon. Anyway, here's the outlet for the lake. We have a raging river crossing here. We made it. Here's where we came in. That's the direction we came from, heading this way. Came across this campsite. I said I didn't want to camp here because it's right on the trail. And then the lean-to is a little further in. So, according to the GPS, we are pointed the right direction. The arrows point that way. I think we have to go back around the side of the lake that we came in on. In fact, I'm sure of it. I think what it does is skirts this side of Teal Lake and goes up higher to Cutthroat. Should be the next one, and then our last one should be Teal. Little factoid about these waterproof boots. They're Skechers. The Skechers have come a long way. Those were just fashionable shoes for the longest time, and now they're actual functional shoes. Not all of them are waterproof boots, of course, but when I ordered them from Amazon, I ordered black. They were out of blue. Everyone knows I love blue. But they were out of blue, so I ordered black. And they sent me brown. So I had to use them shortly after I received them, so I didn't have time to send them back. So I just kept them. So brown it is. Okay, so now we're here in this clearing. We've gotten kind of past the swampy stuff almost. So what a beautiful morning. So when we hiked in, we came out by those cliffs, and there's a trail going up through there. That's where we came from Hayden. But this is saying to go this way. So we're going to hike through this meadow. And then there should be a, not really a crossroads, but kind of where the loop comes together, coming down from the two lakes that we want to check out. Look at this. This meadow goes forever. It's way back in there. It's incredible. Yeah, it goes, I don't know if you can tell on camera, but it goes way back in there. And I wonder if that's where we're headed. Walking through this, it's very swampy and spongy. And I noticed the trail over here. So thank goodness, because I don't want to walk through this swamp the whole time. You can see here is our trail. Pretty easy, actually. But if you don't already know where you're going, I can see how it would be. You could get totally lost. So thank goodness for the All Trails app working. I was pretty ticked off about it yesterday when it was raining, but what it was, there was a time delay. I would tap on the map and nothing would happen. It would just be blank. And I'm sitting there getting pissed off, and then suddenly it would come up, but it took a good 30 seconds. And I have to remember I'm offline and it's doing the best it can with, you know, strictly GPS. It shows right where I am on the trail, which is very useful. I'm not just looking at a map and hoping I'm in the right place. Okay, we have some elevation. Luckily, the total elevation for this entire hike from the parking lot is only 700 something feet. So these little pushes uphill shouldn't be too bad. But the elevation, you know, works against me. We're up above the meadow now. And Teal Lake behind us. Well, we just came up over that ridge and there is almost no trail. But I've been following this and it got me to this meadow. This incredibly huge meadow. It's vast. So, this says we're on the right path. We'll keep going the direction it's pointing me. It says this is the right way. I almost expected there to be a lake down here. It's so big. But nope. Now this time of morning, it's about 8:30 a.m. now. There's a good chance of seeing wildlife if I'm quiet. It's very boggy again. Grateful for the
waterproof boots. I can't imagine doing this at all in the regular hiking shoes. This would be pretty gnarly. I hope this doesn't stay this way all the way across. My guess is, oh, there we go. Not quite as bad on the thicker grass. My guess is we're heading over that ridge too. There's two ridges here. One there, one there. It's like a big bowl. Big basin. Let me just give you an idea of the scale of this meadow here. If I can find a good spot that's not too swampy. So you can kind of see, if you can hear me, just how much meadow there is. That's big. And it goes all the way back there to those rocks, the base of Mount Lofty. All right, let's keep following our coordinates here. It's sort of technically a race against time because of my battery life. But according to this, we're headed that way. And there is literally no trail. Now these are, the route I'm following is something someone else uploaded. So it looks to me like there could be a trail, but they decided to just cut through because they knew where it was maybe. So we might be saving some time doing this. If that's the case, I have no idea, but we shall see. Maybe we'll run into an actual trail here soon. Let's get up over here out of the bog. See if we can find something that resembles a trail. So as you can see, not really. But GPS says we're headed the right way. So let's see this direction. So coming out of that meadow, there's Hayden Peak, so there's no way I can get lost. If I walk toward that right now, I would end up eventually on the highway. So I know where I am. I've just never been here before. The All Trails app says we are headed the right direction. It looks like they just cut through all these meadows. I'm not going through that. We'll go along the edges. Usually, I assume this is probably pretty dry, but with all that rain we got, it's a swamp. Made it through our second meadow. The trail continues this way. Not much of a trail at all. I don't know how you would do this without navigation. Unless you've done it before, of course. There's a hoof slide right there, some kind, an old one. Yeah, definitely not a deer. That's going to be a moose. But they look like old footprints. Just something to be aware of always. I'm in their home, not the other way around. All right. So it looks like we're going to go up, and then we're going to drop down, and then we should be at Cutthroat Lake. Yeah, we just continue this way. All right, after coming through all those meadows and the swamp, there's Lofty, Hayden. This looks a little more like a trail, and this is the direction I should be going. right, so it looks like we're gonna go up to the top of this hill and then drop down in, and we should be at Cutthroat Lake. It's very close. We'll just keep going that way. I'm gonna give the GPS a rest so I don't drain my battery. It's at 37%. But I just came up this. It should be, Cutthroat Lake should be right over this ridge. So, you and I will both discover it together. Okay, there was a little more terrain to come through than I thought, but I can see water over there. And according to the GPS, we are here. Cutthroat Lake. I can sure feel that elevation. I'm not even climbing very steep hills. Even right now, I'm on flat ground. I can feel it. So here is, this is Cutthroat Lake. I want us to discover it together, so I'm going to keep filming. I can see kind of a trail here, and we are right on the shores. Isn't that beautiful? There's someone fishing over there, so I'll be quiet. There's Cutthroat Lake. He's not fishing, he's getting water. That's beautiful. There's another view. Very peaceful and literally right at the base of two mountains, Lofty and Marcel. And there are people backpacking over in there, so I'm going to be very quiet and move on quietly to Teal Lake. It's early morning, so I gotta remember people are still waking up. Not too shabby, huh? Never been here, Cutthroat Lake. Alright, well, according to our GPS, we have to go this direction to find Teal Lake. So, there's kind of a walkway through here. It looks like we're just going to keep cutting through meadows and sometimes seeing a trail, sometimes not. There's a pretty little pond. These are the kinds of ponds I expect to find deer and mooses in. Sorry, deer and moose in. I was corrected recently that mooses is incorrect. Moose is plural, just like deer and deers. You say deer, not deers. So it was actually a friend of mine that corrected me. So it was kind of funny because I used to correct his grammar all the time. All right. That way, that's where we're headed. Look at that drop down. It's a long, slow, gradual drop. There is some water down there, but I'm not sure that's a lake or just a pond. Haven't been hiking that far from Cutthroat. It's just over there. So I doubt that's the lake already. But we'll hike down to it and figure it out from there. There's beautiful, hazy Hayden Peak. Now that haze is not smoke for a change. All the storms pretty much flushed that out. But if you're ever up this way and you're lost, and you can recognize Hayden Peak right there, the highway runs between this area and Hayden Peak. So as long as you hike towards that mountain, you will run into the highway. In case somebody gets ambitious, comes up here, gets turned around, doesn't know how to get out, they start panicking,
look for that peak. Walk that way. You'll probably run into people eventually before you even hit the highway, but it's just good to know. It's what I use to keep my bearings, actually. And also I know where Marcel and Lofty are. So, you know, and I know that's the Couberant Basin. I pretty much have an idea of where the highway is going through the Uintas. There is a vast, vast area of the Uintas where there is no highway. It's called the wilderness area, and nothing on wheels can touch it. You can only walk in, walk out. And it is so vast. You could easily walk in and never come out. The areas I've been going are pretty much hikeable from the highway. But I do like to hike further in from the highway like this so that I get away from people. If you saw my last outing to Clyde and Watson Lake, you saw my frustration because I expected this, and what I got was a shopping mall at noon on a Saturday. So I was pretty angry. A lot of people knowing about this. Granted, I make videos and share them with you and encourage you to get out in every video. There are also a lot of online groups, High Uinta Wilderness groups. They're mostly helpful, but I think a lot of people are sharing information that makes more people and more people come up here. And it's kind of overwhelming the place. In certain areas, you have day trippers who aren't really outdoorsy people, like the lady at the beginning of this video in strappy sandals, jeans, and a cardigan going for a hike. It attracts a lot of that, and so you get a lot of foot traffic. Sometimes just for the day. Some kind of bird going nuts over there. Look at this rock. It looks like a hand with the thumb. Look at that. It's waving at us. His thumb is even sticking up. Like that. Okay, on the map, there's this pond and that pond, and we're heading straight through, passing both of them. Teal Lake is quite large, and it's a ways off, so yeah, we have a ways to go. But this is really pretty. Look at these meadows. Don't forget to enjoy the journey, guys. Sometimes we get so caught up in the destination, the journey loses importance. So I'm just saying, pay attention to what's happening right now and savor the moment. Here's pond number 2. Very peaceful and quiet. Good news, the moisture detection on my phone went away. I've had it mostly in my pocket. I'll take it out, see which direction I need to go, put it back, take a couple of pictures, that kind of thing. I'm not using it constantly. And now it's gone, and I have brought that battery pack with me, so when we get to Teal Lake, we'll sit and rest, check it out, and charge my batteries, both physically and my phone as well. Last time I was out, I was worried about getting enough Instagram pictures. Now, I'm like, okay, I need it to listen to my audiobook. I need it to freaking find my way through the forest. So I've become pretty reliant on my phone and having it fully charged. I am just blown away by how clear this water is. That's crazy. There's a little fish in there.
I hope you can see him. He's between the rock and the... Here, if I step forward, he'll probably take off. I don't want to step in the mud, though. He's hiding in the moss. With my naked eye, I can see him in the moss down there. I don't know. He's in there, though, trust me. He's just a little guy, maybe 2 inches long, but that's interesting. I wonder how fish end up in here. They don't plant it, obviously. It's only maybe 2 feet deep, and nobody's here. Nobody's gonna come here. It's swampy, but you find fish. It's crazy. So it must be larger fish that just breed, and then there's, runoff, and the smaller fish that are hatched get washed into these ponds. I have no idea. I just have my theories. You can go ahead and comment, what you think, how these little tiny fish get in a pond that's so isolated and unpopulated. Just got a little bit dizzy. Altitude. I'm gonna put on the screen at each lake what the altitude is, where we're at. I'm not even sure what altitude I'm at right now. Some deer tracks. I pay attention to tracks. I pay attention to droppings. I like to know what kind of animals frequent the area. Have not seen any bear footprints or bear scat. Fingers crossed. Doesn't excite me. I don't know what's over there, but it really drops down right before that mountain. Could be where the river flows through, but I don't hear it. So I'm not going to go off trail and figure it out. That's what happened to Geraldine Legay. How do you say your last name? I can't remember. But she just went off trail to use the bathroom and ended up 3,000 feet from the trail and dying in her tent. We're still going the right direction. We are about halfway between, a little more than halfway between Cutthroat and Teal. So this isn't a bad hike. It's fairly easy. I'm not complaining. It's stunning. This is the kind of stuff that Disney animators got the inspiration for Bambi from, It really is. Here's another little pond. That's not worth almost mentioning. It's more of a puddle. So we're making our way around the loop. And this is just breathtaking. Absolutely beautiful. I recently watched Bambi. I first saw it when I was 5 years old. No, I wasn't around when it came out. I'm not that old. But I really enjoy that movie. I've watched it so many times. I have Disney Plus at home, and of course on my phone. That's how I watch Toy Story 4. I don't just watch kids movies, but sometimes life gets so heavy and so stressful. It's nice to go back to being a kid again, Just those movies help. And then I got on a kick watching a whole bunch of animated Disney movies that I hadn't seen since I was really little, and I couldn't really remember them. So I watched Pinocchio. That was better than I remember. I could only vaguely remember. He really doesn't lie that much in that movie. It only happens a couple of times where his nose grows, but you would think that it's a constant thing. It's not. Then I watched Sleeping Beauty, and that was lame. I did not enjoy Sleeping Beauty. I thought it was just dumb. And there's huge segments where it shows the prince fighting and all this stuff. He's not even so much as making a sound. They didn't even have a guy come in and do his voice, except for in a couple of places. He's super silent. Meanwhile, Sleeping Beauty's over there, me, 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 me. And so are those little fairies. Just, oh my gosh, poor guy. He's gonna be talked to death. Anyway,
I didn't really enjoy it. I thought I watched Snow White, very much enjoyed that. What else? Did I stop there? I may have stopped there. Anyway, speaking of stopping, I just realized the trail came through here and then it just disappeared, and the ponds are back that way. So I think I'm still going the right direction, but I need to check the GPS again and just make sure. Yep, we're still headed that way. Still going the right direction. I'm starting to hear water flow down that way. So I think the Weber River runs through here. I have found Teal Lake. See it down there? That is Teal Lake, and it is big. I will find a place to chill next to it so I can recharge. All in all, this has been a relatively easy hike. The uphills I've encountered have been very small uphills. If you were to do the loop the opposite direction from Jewel Lake, you would be going all uphill. So this is the nice, easy downhill route. But this lake is pretty huge. First of all, there's the lake. Well, we are at the top of this. I am not getting close enough to that ledge to see what's down there. I'm going to go back over this way where there's a trail going down. But you can get pretty, if you're not careful, not paying attention, you could go right off that cliff because it comes right down this hill and stops there. So quite a beautiful view though. Wow.